sa bahang maraming commuter sa isang subway train station sa Sao Paulo, Brazil.
Ang tanong, may dumating naman kayang rescuers para sumaklolo sa kanila? Nako, malalaman po natin yan mula sa mga detalye ng balitang ibabahagi maya-maya. Magandang gabi. Ako po si Ricky Matay.
Ako si Nina Richie Alago Flores. Ito ang mata ng Agila International. Para naman sa ating mga headlines ngayong araw ng Lunes.
Executive clemency pinagkaloob kay dismissed Iloilo City Mayor Jed Mabilog. Ang kanyang saloobin ukol dito tunghayan sa aming exclusive report.
24 na mga Pilipino pinadeport mula sa Estados Unidos dahil sa minor crimes.
Yoon Suk-yeol kinasuhan ng insurrection dahil sa pagdeklara ng martial law sa South Korea.
US President Donald Trump umalma sa Colombia matapos hindi tanggapin ang mga deportation flights. At
Italian tennis player Yannick Sinner muling nadepensahan ang kampyonato ng Australian Open.
Noong 2017 ang pinatalsik sa pwesto bilang alkalde ng Iloilo City si Jed Mabilog matapos ideklarang guilty ng Office of the Ombudsman sa salang serious dishonesty relative to his unlawful acquisition of wealth.
At makalipas po ng 8 taon ay aming nakapanayam ang dating alkalde para alamin ang kanyang saloobin matapos gawaran ng executive clemency ni Pangulong Ferdinand Marcos Jr. Narito po ang ibang detalye sa aking exclusive report. Kinumpirma ng Malacanang ang paggawad ni Pangulong Ferdinand Marcos Jr. ng isang executive clemency para kay dismissed Iloilo City Mayor Jed Patrick Mabilog. Kaakibat nito, sinabi ni Executive Secretary Lucas Bersamin na dahil sa executive clemency, inaalis na rin lahat ng multa o parusang kaakibat ng administrative case na sanhi ng pagkatanggal niya sa pwesto.
The President decided to grant the request of former Mayor of Iloilo City, Jed Mabilog, because he pleaded that his liabilities or disabilities under that decision of the Ombudsman should be expunged.
Sa statement, sinabi rin ni Bersamin na pinagbigyan ni Pangulong Marcos ang hiling na executive clemency ni Mabilog dahil na rin sa matagal nitong commitment sa mabuting pamamahala na pinatunayan ng mga gawad at parangal sa Iloilo City noong siya pa ang alkalde nito. Biyernes ng umaga na matanggap ni Mabilog sa kanyang tahanan sa Molo, Iloilo ang pirmadong liham ni Executive Secretary Lucas Bersamin.
Ano po una sumagi sa isipan niyo muna? Siyempre, obviously, ang nararamdaman niyo is relief, I would presume,
Una, of course, pasalamat talaga sa Panginoon. I've been praying for this for the last 7 years, that the truth will come out. And, of course, nagpapasalamat ako sa lahat na tumulong na makukuha ko nito. And I know that there's a lot of vetting, there's a lot of checking to ensure that I really deserve this. And I thank again the President, President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. for granting me the executive clemency and restoring whatever rights that I lost.
Tinanggal ng ombudsman sa pwesto si Mabilog matapos mapatunayang guilty noong 2017 sa kasong dishonesty at hindi maipaliwanag na yaman na nagkakahalaga ng 8.9 na milyong piso. Subalit nanindigan si Mabilog na politika ang ugat sa mga isinampang kaso laban sa kanya, kabilang na ang pagsasama sa kanyang pangalan sa drug watch list ni dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte.
I had about 50 cases have been filed against me, and all 49 have been dropped
Okay.
and dismissed. At saka ito na lang isa ang natira.
Yung isa natitira lang.
Isa natitira kasi it all started because of politics. Yun nga, nanalo po ako noong 2010 and then in 2013 and in 2016. Sa 2013 and 2016, overwhelming na yung mga votes na natanggap ko, which is a big majority of...
Landslide nga eh, di ba?
Landslide.
Opo.
And in 2014, kinilala po ako na one of the world's outstanding mayor. I was awarded and recognized. I was the 5th all over the world. Actually, it was in 2016, I think in August of 2016, when my name was one of those that were mentioned by the former president.
And by the former president, we
By the
mean...
former president, Rodrigo Duterte, that I was in the drug personality as a drug protector. Although Iloilo City, under my leadership, including myself, has received recognitions from PIDEA and from the Philippine National Police from the years 2013, 14, 15, and 16. And even on the year 2017, that we had best practices on our campaign against illegal drugs.
Nanindigan itong umalis siya at ang pamilya ng bansa dahil sa mga death threats na kanilang natatanggap. Plano rin itong magharap ng mga kaso sa mga responsable sa pananakot sa kanilang seguridad sa mga darating na araw.
I went to Japan I was a speaker on an international conference on climate change. And when I got word, then I decided na po na hindi na po ako babalik because of the death of the threats to my life and my family.
Do you have any idea, Mayor, kung kanino specifically nanggagaling yung mga threats na yun? Meron bang ikaw na mga suspicions?
Yes, as a matter of fact, ang nakita ko, yung ang pag-alis ko, yung may naka-benefit. I've learned also recently when I came back that it was already part of the grand plan to destroy my reputation and my person. So in due time, I will be filing the proper cases against them. Meron po akong mga hawak na mga resibo and witnesses to testify in the proper time.
Sa kabila ng 7 taong nawala sa Pilipinas at sa serbisyo si Mabilog, tinitignan pa rin itong isang blessing ang naging mapait na karanasan.
What was your life when you went to the United States?
It was, I thank the Lord for giving me this opportunity. In these 7 years, it was the most beautiful years of my life because I was able to spend these years with my family. And you know, I have also realized that after God, it should be family first.
Naniniwala naman si dating Chief Presidential Legal Counsel Salvador Panelo na pabuya sa ginawang paninira ni Mabilog kay dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte ang ibinigay na executive clemency sa dating Iloilo Mayor. Ricky Mathay para sa Mata ng Agila International. Trusted, connected, on point.
Nilinaw ni Philippine Ambassador to the United States Jose Manuel Romualdez na pansamantala lamang ang aid freeze ng Estados Unidos. Ayon sa Philippine Envoy, walang dapat ipag-alala mga Pilipino ukol dito at ang suspension na ito ay bahagi lamang ng proseso ng pagsusuri ng Estados Unidos sa kanilang polisiya sa foreign aid. Ang aid freeze ay ipinag-utos ni US President Donald Trump upang tiyakin kung ang distribusyon ng tulong ay tugma sa mga layunin ng foreign policy ng kanyang administrasyon kung saan tatagal ito ng 70 araw. Maiging minomonitor ng Department of Foreign Affairs o DFA ang sitwasyon ukol dito. Noong fiscal year 2023, ang US ang pinakamalaking aid donor sa buong mundo dahil nakapagbigay ito ng $72 billion na foreign assistance. Samantala, kinakasang isang pulong sa pagitan ni Pangulong Ferdinand Marcos Jr. at Pangulong Donald Trump upang palakasin ang alyansa ng Pilipinas at ng Estados Unidos.
At kaugnay po ng mass deportation sa mga illegal na immigrants ng Trump administration ay mayroong 24 na Pilipino ang pinadeport ng US dahil sa pagkakasangkot ng mga ito sa mga illegal na gawain. Nilinaw ni Philippine Ambassador to the US Jose Manuel Romualdez na ang mga Pilipinong ito ay nasangkot sa minor crimes at hindi mga heinous crimes. Dahil dito, inabisuhan ni Romualdez ang mga undocumented Filipinos sa Estados Unidos na wag nang hintayin na ma-deport pa at voluntaryo na lamang na bumalik sa Pilipinas o kaya ay asikasuhin na kaagad ang kanilang mga papeles. Kapwa naman inanunsyo ng Philippine Embassy at ng Consulate General sa Estados Unidos ang puspusan nilang pakikipagtulungan sa mga US officials para tsaking mapangalagaan ang karapatan at kapakanan ng mga Pilipino roon sa gitna ng pagbabago sa immigration policy sa ilalim ng pamumuno ni Pangulong Donald Trump. Muli naman binigyan din ng Embahada ng Pilipinas sa US na may karapatan ang mga Pinoy roon anuman ang kanilang immigration status.
Sa imbitasyon ng Philippine Consulate General sa New York, nagtipon ang Filipino community ng Northeastern United States para sa ika-11 General Assembly nila roon. Kasama sa kanilang programa ay ang pagtalakay ng kanilang mga tagumpay, mga susunod na aktibidad, maging mga pinaplanong proyekto ng Konsulado ng Pilipinas sa New York. Narito ang report ni NET25 correspondent Joanne Soriano.
In New York, the Philippine Consulate invited partner organizations from around the region to attend the 11th Filipino Community General Assembly. Consul General Senin Mangkalile recounted the many accomplishments of the past year. He also updated the community on what can be expected in 2025. One item to note is that overseas voting will be done electronically in lieu of casting paper ballots. This can be done via smartphone, tablet, or computer, wherever individuals can access a camera. Consul General Mangkalile acknowledged that Filipinos with uncertain status are anxious under the new Trump administration, and he assured everyone that the Consulate General in New York is their safe space, regardless of status.
The Philippine Consulate General in New York is their safe space. We never share our data with the US government or any other government. We protect that data because we are covered by the Philippine data protection laws. We can assure them that we will process their consular applications irrespective of their visa status. We will partner with the capable organizations in the community in order to protect their right to due process. Those who are detained and facing cases but are unable to secure lawyers for their defense, will get pro bono assistance from FAUDEP and their lawyers.
To further assist Filipinos under this administration, he elaborated that the Consul General will hold online webinars for people to know their rights and connect them to free legal clinics to maintain their anonymity and privacy. A Q&A town hall session touched upon the different issues members in attendance were concerned about. The program continued with the launching of the very important Pinoy, or VIP tour. Philams are invited to explore the rich history, culture, and people of Manila, Ilocos, and Puerto Princesa. From the Philippine Center in New York, New York, Joanne Soriano from Matanang Agila International. Trusted, connected, on point.
Inabisuhan naman ng Office of Civil Defense o OCD ang publiko na inilipat ng China ang pagpapalipad ng Long Range March 8A rocket ito sa susunod na buwan. Anila magpapalabas ang Philippine Space Agency o PhilSA ng panibagong anunsyo kung may kumpirmado na itong bagong petsa ng rocket launching ng China. Batay sa naunang anunsyo, ilulunsad dapat ang nasabing rocket ng China noong Sabado mula sa Wenchang Spacecraft Launch Site sa Hainan Province.
Kaya bilang paghahanda rito, pansamantalang pinagbawal ng Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources o BFAR ang paglalayag sa Rosal Reef at sa katubigan ng Puerto Princesa dahil sa panganib na maaaring may bumagsak na rocket debris doon. Naglabas naman ang OCD ng memo na nag-uutos sa kinauukulang mga ahensyang tiyakin ang kaligtasan ng publiko lalo na sa mga apektadong coastal areas.
Matapos ang ilang beses na pagkaantala ay tuloy na nga ang muling pag-imprenta ng mga balota ng COMELEC para sa 2025 midterm elections sa May. Matatanda ang naantala ang pag-imprenta ng mga balota matapos maglabas ng Temporary Restraining Order o TRO ang Korte Suprema sa ilang nadiskwalipikang mga kandidato. Dito rin nasayang ang mga nasa 6 na milyong balota na nauna nang naimprenta ng COMELEC. Dahil dito ay back to zero ang COMELEC. Bago kasi ang Abril 14, dapat nakapag-imprenta na ang poll body ng higit sa 70 milyong balota. Kaya ang target ngayon ng COMELEC ay makaimprenta ng 1.5 milyon na mga balota kada araw. Gagamitin ng poll body ang 6 na machines para sa printing kung saan 4 dito ay makina ng National Printing Office at 2 naman ang galing sa Miru. Ayon naman kay COMELEC Chairman George Garcia, uunahin muna nila ang pag-imprenta ng mga balota para sa national at local elections. Ihuhuli nila ang gagamitin para sa parliamentary elections kasunod ng mga panukala para sa pagpapaliban nito sa Agosto. Nilinaw naman ng COMELEC na ipagpaalam na itutuloy na nila ang pag-iimprenta ng mga balota kahit may inilabas na panibagong TRO ang Korte Suprema.
Itinanggi naman ng Chinese Embassy sa Maynila ang mga aligasyong isang spy ang nakakulong na Chinese national na si Deng Wanqing. Ayon sa embahada, lumapit ang pamilya ni Deng sa kanilang opisina para ipahayag ang kanilang pag-aalala sa kaligtasan ni Deng. Dahil dito, nakiusap ang Chinese Embassy sa pamahalaan ng Pilipinas na wag nang gumawa ng mga walang batayang haka-haka. Humingi rin ng permiso ang embahada na mapayagan itong bisitahin si Deng upang makapagbigay-anila sila ng consular assistance. Dati nang ibinalita na sangkot ang nasabing Chinese national sa pagmamanman sa critical infrastructure ng Pilipinas.
Dahil sa mga illegal na aktibidad ng China sa karagatan ng Pilipinas, ay napipilitan ng Pilipinas na ipagtanggol ang sarili nito at igiit ang karapatan. Ang pahayag na iyan ay ayon mismo kay Department of National Defense o DND Secretary Gilberto Chodoro Jr. Paliwanag ng kalihim, ang ginagawa sa Pilipinas ay sapilitang pagnanakaw ng karapatan nito. Karapatan ng soberanya sa exclusive economic zone na ang Pilipinas ang siyang may tanging karapatang i-explore ito at i-exploit ang mga yaman nito. Subalit ang China ay gumagawaan niya ng mga iligal na aktibidad sa West Philippine Sea hindi lamang sa salita kundi maging sa gawa. Isa na rito anya ang patuloy na pagde-deploy ng China ng maritime forces nito sa karagatan ng Pilipinas. Kaya ang China mismo ang may kasalanan. Ayon pa kay Chodoro, nagsisikap ang China na baguhin ang mga salaysay o narratives. Sinisikap din anya ng China na sirain ang ekonomiya ng Pilipinas at impluwensya ng iba na huwag pumanig sa ating bansa. Kabilang narito ang pagsasabi na isang scrap of paper lamang ang 2016 Arbitral Award. Subalit, matagal nang ipinahayag ng Permanent Court of Arbitration sa 2016 arbitral ruling nito na ang 9-dash line ng China ay walang legal na batayan.
At good news man po tayo dahil sasalubong ngayong huling linggo ng Enero ang fuel price rollback sa araw ng January 28. Batay sa inilabas ng advisories ng oil industry firms, ibababa nila ng 80 sentimos ang kada litro ng gasolina. 20 sentimos naman ang bawas sa presyo ng kada litro ng diesel, habang 50 sentimos naman ang bawas sa kada litro ng kerosene o gas.
Susunod, South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol kinasuhan ng insurrection.
Hamas at Israel nagsagawa ulit ng major prisoner exchange.
At 2 eroplanong may dalang migrante hinaharang makalapag sa Colombia. Iba pang detalye ng mga balita sa pagbabalik ng mata ng Agila International.
Abangan niyo po kami tuwing Sabado at Linggo 8 to 9 a.m. Yun na lang yan sa NET25. Ito ang tahanan. Ako po si Ate Sherilyn.
Exciting prizes na ito sa ating NET25 Selfie with the Agila promo. Abangan ang announcement ng winners simula January 27 hanggang January 31, 2025 sa Love, Tony Pet, and Everything. Kada umaga, ESPN, sa Ganang Mamamayan at Mata ng Agila Primetime. Kaya naman tumutok lang dito sa NET25.
Ang mga maiinit na balita
at rumaratsyad ang usapan ng bayan.
ihahatid namin sa 100%!
100% ang pagbabalita.
100% talakayan.
Lunes hanggang Biyernes.
Alas 5 hanggang alas 7 ng umaga.
Live na live sa Radyo Agila 1062 Mega Manila.
At sa NET25. 100%!
Sa NET25, let's net together. Sa NET25.
Inakusahan ng mga prosecutors ng South Korea ng insurrection si impeached President Yoon Suk-yeol dahil sa nilabas nitong martial law decree noong Desyembre at 3 ng nakaraang taon. Depensa ng mga abogado niyon, ang nasabing akusasyon ay worst choice na ginawa ng prosecution. Git ng legal team niyon, ang pagdedeklara ng Pangulo ng emergency martial law ay isang desperadong pakiusap sa publiko dahil sa isang pambansang krisis na dulot ng oposisyon na hindi na makontrol. Hindi rin matanggap ng mga taga-suporta niyon ang desisyon ng mga prosecutors. Kahit na sobrang lamig ay nagtipon-tipon ang mga Yoon supporters sa harap ng Seoul Detention Center upang hintayin ang paglaya ng nasabing opisyal.
저희들은 나라를 구하기 위해서 더우나 추우나 눈이 오나 비가 오나 계속 활동하고 있고요. 우리 윤석열 대통령께서 나올 때까지 저희들은 계속 이렇게
안양에 사시는 70대 분이 아까
애국 활동을 할 것입니다.
이 우산을
설날인데도 불구하고 저는 나라를 지키는데 한 힘이라도 보태고자 여기 힘을 모으고자 한 사람이라도 더 나와서 대통령을 지키며 대통령 한 사람뿐만 아니라 나라를 지키는 일이기 때문에 편하게 집에서 있을 수가 없었습니다. 그래서 이곳에 나오게 되었습니다.
Samantala, nagsaya at welcome naman sa oposisyon ang desisyon ng Prosecutor's Office na kasuhan si Yoon ng insurrection dahil walang immunity ang sinumang presidente ng South Korea sa kasong ito. Ito rin ay may kaakibat na life imprisonment at kung sakaling opisyal nang matanggal si Yoon sa pwesto bilang Pangulo ng South Korea, ay magkakaroon ng eleksyon doon sa loob ng 60 araw.
Naghahanda umano ang North Korea na magpadala pa ng mas maraming sundalo nito sa Russia matapos maubos ang bilang ng mga ito sa Ukraine-Russian war. Ayon po yan sa naging pahayag ng South Korea, naghahanda rin umano ang North Korea na magsagawa ng mga test fires ng kanilang intercontinental ballistic missile hanggang sa umabot umano ito sa Estados Unidos kung saan nababatid ng ilang mga eksperto na malabong gumawaan nila si North Korean leader Kim Jong-un ng mga hakbang na magpapalala ng relasyon nito kay US President Donald Trump. Subalit, nakikita rin umano ni Kim Jong-un na mas lalo nitong mapapalakas ang nuclear program ng North Korea kung makikipagtulungan ito kay Russian President Vladimir Putin kaysa umano sa naging pag-uusap nila ni Trump noong 2018-2019 summit. Matatandaan pong isa ang North Korea sa nagbigay ng malaking suporta sa Russia kung saan nagpadala ito ng mga artillery at iba pang conventional weapons. Kasama na rito ang pagpapadala ng mga North Korean soldiers na aabot sa 12,000. Kapalit umano yan ng pagbibigay naman ng Russia ng mga makabagong kagamitan na maaaring makapag-develop ng nuclear weapon ng North Korea. Samantala, sinabi naman ng South Korea Spy Agency noong nakaraang linggo na tinitingnang nasa 300 sundalo ng North Korean ang nasawi at mahigit 2,700 naman ang nasugatan. Taliwas sa ulat ng Ukraine sa unang bahagi ng Enero matapos kumpirmahin ni Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky na nasa 4,000 ang bilang ng mga nasawi o nasugatang sundalo ng North Korea, habang ang tansya naman na Estados Unidos ay mas mababa pa na umabot lamang na 1,200 ng mga North Korean soldiers ang nasawi.
Nagpahayag ng kahandaan si Russian President Vladimir Putin na makipag-usap kay US President Donald Trump.
Во-первых, хочу сказать, что Россия никогда не отказывалась от контактов с администрацией Соединенных Штатов. И не наша вина в том, что прежняя администрация от этих контактов отказалась.
Pinuri pa nito ang kauupong presidente kung saan sinabi niyang matalino siya at mabilis makahanap ng mga solusyon at laging nakatuon sa interes ng kanyang bansa. Dagdag pa ni Putin, hindi sana nangyari ang giyera nila ng Ukraine kung nagwagi si Trump noong 2020 election na ipinanalo naman ni Joe Biden. Sa ilang okasyon ay kinundina ni former President Joe Biden ang pamamahala ni Putin sa Russia na nagresulta naman sa pagkasira ng relasyon sa pagitan ng dalawang bansa.
С нынешним президентом США у меня всегда были деловые, исключительно деловые, но в то же время прагматические отношения и доверительные, я бы сказал. И я не могу не согласиться с ним в том, что если бы он был президентом, если бы у него в 2020 году не украли победу, то, может быть, и не было бы того кризиса на Украине, который возник в 2022 году.
Iginit ni Putin na hindi lamang ang estado nila ng Ukraine ang maaaring talakayin ng dalawa, maaari ring madagdag dito ang usapin tungkol sa nuclear energy at ekonomiya. Una nang sinabi ni Trump kay Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky na dapat ay makipagkasundo na ito kay Putin para maiwasan ang anumang kaguluhan. Nang makapanayam naman ni Sean Hannity si Donald Trump, ay ipinagmalaki nito ang kanyang relasyon ni Chinese President Xi Jinping at Russian President Vladimir Putin.
It went fine. It was a good, friendly conversation. I had a great relationship with him prior to COVID. I had a very good relationship with him. I thought it was a very good conversation. We've had other communication before that. They are a very ambitious country. He's a very ambitious man. He's a man that was... I don't want to be naive and say my friend, but he was like my friend. We had a very good relationship. I had a very good relationship with Putin also.
Nakatanggap po ng isang unequivocal apology si Prince Harry mula sa news group newspapers, or that's NGN ni Rupert Murdoch. Kaugnay ito sa ikinaso ni Harry laban sa NGN dahil sa umano'y unlawful information gathering. Ayon sa abogado ni Harry, handa rin ang NGN na magbayad ng damages sa Duke of Sussex. Inamin din ng kumpanya na biktima si Harry ng phone hacking.
I've been asked to read out a statement on behalf of the Duke of Sussex and Lord Watson. In a monumental victory today, News UK have admitted that The Sun, the flagship title for Rupert Murdoch's UK media empire, has indeed engaged in illegal practices. This represents a vindication for the hundreds of other claimants who were strong-armed into settling without being able to get to the truth of what was done to them. After endless resistance, denials, and legal battles by newsgroup newspapers, including spending more than £1 billion in payouts and in legal costs, as well as paying off those in the know, in order to prevent the full picture from coming out, News UK is finally held to account for its illegal actions and its blatant disregard for the law.
Pinalaya ng Hamas ang 4 na bihag na babaeng sundalong Israeli bilang kapalit ng 200 mga Palestinong bilanggo alinsunod sa kanilang ceasefire agreement. Ginawa ito sa paglalayong wakasan ng 15 buwang digmaan sa Gaza. Ang mga sundalo ay sina Karina Ariev, Daniela Gilboa, Naama Levi at Liri Albag. Ang 4 na ito ay nakatalaga sa isang observation post sa Gaza at dinukot ng Hamas fighters noong panahon ng pag-atake ng grupo sa Israel noong Oktubre 7, 2023. Ayon pa sa militar, muli nilang nakapiling ang kanilang pamilya at dinala rin sila sa ospital sa Central Israel ayon sa Israeli Health Ministry. Samantala, bitbit naman ang isang bus ang mga Palestinian prisoners palabas ng Israeli off-air military prison pagkatapos mapalaya ang mga hostages. Ayon sa prison service ng Israel, nasa 200 mga bilanggo ang pinalaya. Kabilang sa mga ito, mga convicted militants na nagsisilbi ng habang buhay na sentensya dahil sa kanilang pagkakasangkot sa mga pag-atake na pumatay ng 12 na katao ayon sa listahan na inilathala ng Hamas. Humigit kumulang 70 ang ide-deport sa Egypt, 16 ang ipinadala sa Gaza at ang natitirang mga bilanggo ay ilalabas sa West Bank ayon sa Palestinian officials.
Inihinto ng Amerika ang halos lahat ng foreign aid nito. Ayon po yan sa internal memo na ipinadala ng mga opisyal at US embassies sa iba't ibang mga bansa. Ito ay kasunod ng inisyong executive order ni US President Donald Trump noong Lunes para sa 70 araw na paghinto ng foreign development assistance habang nakabinbin pa ang pag-aaral sa efficiency at consistency nito sa foreign policy ni Trump. Ang Amerika nga ang itinuturing na pinakamalaking international aid donor sa buong mundo na gumugugol ng $68 billion noong taong 2023. Kaya't inaasahan na maaapektuhan ng pagpapatigil ng foreign aid mula sa US ang lahat mula sa development assistance hanggang sa military aid. Bagamat may exceptions dito, kabilang po dyan ang emergency food aid and military funding para sa Israel at Egypt. Nakasaad din sa nag-leak na memo na walang bagong pondo na ilalaan para sa mga bagong awards o extension ng existing awards hanggang sa ganap na ma-review at maaprubahan na ang bawat panukalang bagong award o extension. Ipinagutos din sa naturang executive order ni Trump ang malawakang pagsisiyasat sa lahat ng foreign aid na dapat makumpleto sa loob ng 85 araw upang matiyak na ang naturang assistance ay alinsunod sa mga adhikain ng foreign policy ni Trump. Nauna naman nang sinabi ni US Secretary of State Marco Rubio na mangyayari lamang ang lahat ng US spending sa ibang bansa kapag nagawa ng maging mas matatag, mas ligtas at mas maunlad na ang Amerika.
Kinumpirma ng Estados Unidos na maaaring maipagpatuloy ang ceasefire deal sa pagitan ng Lebanon at Israel simula Pebrero 18 ng taong ito. Una nang sinabi na Israel na mananatili sa South Lebanon ang kanilang mga militar sa kabila ng itinakdang deadline. Ayon sa White House, patuloy ang kanilang isinasagawang monitoring sa naturang kasunduan sa pagitan ng dalawang bansa. Sa nakalipas na pag-atake ng Israel sa Lebanon, aabot sa 22 katao ang nasawi noong linggo. Ang giyera sa pagitan ng Israel at Lebanon o militanteng grupo ng Hezbollah ay sumiklab matapos na makisimpatya ng Hezbollah sa giyera sa pagitan ng Israel at Hamas sa Gaza. Hindi naman binanggit ng Israel kung hanggang kailan magtatagal ang kanilang mga tropa sa Southern Lebanon kung saan patuloy ang operasyon nito laban sa Hezbollah. Patuloy nitong sinisira ang mga buildings dahil sa paniniwalang pinagtataguan ito ng mga militanteng grupo.
Nais ng Lebanese group na Hezbollah na tuluyang umalis sa mga sundalo ng Israel sa kanilang bansa. Ito kasi umano ang laman ng ceasefire na napagkasunduan ng dalawang panig noon pang Nobyembre. Ang nasabing kasunduan ay pinamunuan ng US at France para tuluyan na matapos ang ilang taon na kaguluhan. Nakasaad sa kasunduan na dapat noong Lunes pa ay natapos na ang 60-day period na pag-alis ng mga sundalo ng Israel mula sa Lebanon, gayon din ang pag-alis ng mga puwersa ng Hezbollah. Giit naman ni Israeli government spokesperson David Mencer na may mga hakbang na silang ginawa, subalit paglilinaw niya na hindi ito basta ginagawa ng mabilisan at kailangan ng ilang panahon.
Just today we discussed the ceasefire agreement with Lebanon. We've made clear that there have been positive movements where the Lebanese army and UNIFIL have taken the place of Hezbollah forces as stipulated in the agreement. We've also made clear that these movements have not been fast enough and there is much more work to do. Israel has made clear that they wish for this agreement to endure. Israel will certainly enforce this agreement as well as adhering to this agreement. But the movements have not been fast enough.
Hindi tinanggap ng Colombia ang 2 eroplanong militar ng Estados Unidos. Alamin natin ang dahilan mula kay NJ de Guzman.
Noong linggo, 2 US military aircraft lulan ang 12 ng Colombian migrants ang tinanggihan ng Colombia. Ang pagdideport sa mga ito ay bahagi ng immigration crackdown ni US President Donald Trump. Pangalawang bansa na sa Latin America ang Colombia na tumanggi sa US military deportation flights. Kinundina ni Colombian President Gustavo Petro ang pagdedeport na ito ng Administrasyong Trump. Anya, tinatratong kriminal ng US ang mga migrante. Sa kanyang post sa X, sinabi ni Petro na tatanggapin ng Colombia ang deported migrants kung sakay ito ng mga eroplanong sibilyan. Anya, dapat silang tratuhin na may respeto at dignidad. Ang desisyong ito ng Colombia ay kasunod ng pagtanggi rin ng Mexico na palapagin ng isang US military aircraft lulan ang mga migrante. Ang komento ni Petro ay dagdag sa kawangis na mga hinaing ng Latin America kaugnay ng pagpapatupad ng mass deportations ng isang linggong administrasyon ni Trump. Ang paggamit ng US military aircraft upang ilipad ang deportation flights ay bahagi ng tugon ng Pentagon sa deklarasyon ni Trump ng national emergency ukol sa imigrasyon noong Lunes. Ito ay sinasabing kauna-unahang pagkakataon na gumamit ang US ng military aircraft upang ilipad ang mga migrante palabas ng bansa. Noong Biyernes, 2 US military aircraft din na may sakay na 80 migrante ang lumipad patungo naman sa Guatemala. NJ de Guzman para sa mata ng Agila International, trusted, connected, on point.
Hindi umano nagmamadali ang Mexico na imbitahin si US President Donald Trump para sa isang state visit.
Ellos pueden actuar en su territorio, en su marco de actuación y de su constitución. Nosotros lo que decimos es la defensa de nuestra soberanía y nuestra independencia. Por eso siempre dijimos nos coordinamos, pero somos un país libre, independiente y soberano. Y lo que vamos a buscar es la coordinación. Por eso digo que hay que tener calma y la cabeza fría y actuar paso por paso. Entonces, en este momento, lo que firmó el presidente Donald Trump es que continúa el tratado comercial, que abren las consultas para la revisión que se va a hacer en el 2026. Eso lo dice.
Ayon naman kay Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum, normal lamang ang pag-imbita sa isang pangulo naman sa subalit kailangan lamang ito ng tamang panahon. Sakaling maimbitahan nila si Trump ay magsasagawa sila ng kasunduan. Magugunitang sa darating na Pebrero 1, papatawan na ng Estados Unidos ng 25 taripa ang mga produkto mula sa Canada at Mexico. Gayon din ang pagsasara ni Trump ng border nila ng Mexico na magre-resulta naman sa pagpapauwi ng maraming Mexicans.
Ya estamos en comunicación, sea el día de hoy o de mañana, para iniciar las conversaciones bilaterales que son indispensables, pues con la llegada del presidente Trump, para poder establecer pues ya toda la comunicación, el diálogo respetuoso entre nuestros países, evitar confrontaciones. Es una responsabilidad. Al mismo tiempo, relacionarnos como iguales, nunca subordinados, defender nuestra soberanía, nuestra independencia y defender a las y a los mexicanos.
Susunod, Israeli narangan ang libu-libong mga Palestino na makabalik sa Gaza.
US President Donald Trump gumawa ng technical working group para sa cryptocurrency regulation.
At world number 1 na si Yannick Sinner, kampiyon uli ng Australian Open. Yan at iba pang mga balita sa pagbabalik ng mata ng Agila International.
Matatag ang paninindigan. Matapang sa pagresponde. Matapat sa paglilingkod. Patikang tagapagbalita. Mata natin sa balitaan. Alex Santos kasama gabi-gabi sa Mata ng Agila Primetime.
Nagbabalik ang Mata ng Agila International at sa pagpapatuloy po ng ating mga balita ngayong gabi. Higit sa 100,000 mga tirahan ang nawala ng kuryente dahil sa malakas na bagyong tumama sa Brazil. Dahil sa masamang panahong ito ay maraming mga commuters sa mga subway train stations ang na-stranded bunsod ng rumaragasang baha. Pinasok na kasi ng tubig ang loob ng istasyon kung saan maraming mga behero ang naipit at napakapit pa sa mga handrails sa pag-asang makakauwi silang ligtas sa kanilang mga tahanan. May isang eroplano ang aktong nahuli ng kamera na tinamaan pa ng kidlat. Anila, nakaparada ang Airbus A350 sa tarmac ng Guarulhos International Airport nang nakidlatan ng vertical stabilizer nito. Bumigay at nabutas naman ang isang section ng bubong sa isang shopping mall sa Villa Guillerme District dahil sa malakas na pagbuhos ng ulan. Ayon po sa management ng mall, nasira ang bubong dahil sa naipong tubig ulan sa mga alulod nito. Inabisuhan naman ng mga otoridad ang publiko na manatili muna sa loob ng bahay at hintayin ang mga rescuers kung saan man sila na stranded ng baha.
Tumaob dahil sa isang malaking alon sa baybayin ng San Diego ang isang hinihinalang human smuggling boat ayon sa mga otoridad. Ayon kay Lifeguard Lieutenant Rick Romero, nangyari ang insidente malapit sa Abbott Street at Saratoga Avenue. Nang makatanggap niya sila ng tawag ay agad nagpunta ang mga lifeguard doon. Pagdating ng mga lifeguard sa baybayin, natanaw ng mga ito ang maraming taong palutang-lutang sa tubig at humihingi ng saklolo. Pinaniniwala ang 2 tao ang naipit sa loob ng barko at inanod na ng tubig. Hindi naman inilabas ni Lieutenant Romero ang eksaktong bilang ng mga taong lulan ng barko.
Libo-libong mga Palestino ang naghihintay sa border ng Hilagang Gaza matapos harangin sila ng mga sundalo ng Israel dahil sa umunoy paglabag ng Hamas sa ceasefire agreement. Ayon sa Israel, muling makakapasok ang mga residenteng Palestino sa Gaza sa oras na mapakawalan na si Zionist captive Arbel Yehud. Kinumpirma naman ng mga mediators na galing Egypt at Qatar na ligtas na at nasa mabuting kalagayan si Yehud. Sa kasalukuyan, 7 Israeli captives kasama ang 4 na sundalo na ang napakawalan kapalit ng 290 Palestinian prisoners.
Natagpuan ang mga balahibo ng ibon at mantsa ng dugo sa parehong makina ng eroplano ng Jeju Air na sumadsad at sumabog noong December 29 ng nagdaang taon na ikinasawi ng 179 katao. Ayon pa sa preliminary investigation na inilabas ngayong Lunes, may mga pilotong nakakita ng isang grupo ng mga ibon na nasa runway 01 habang bumababa ang Boeing 737-800. Lumabas din sa report na nakita sa isang security camera na may grupo ng mga ibon noong go-around ng Jeju airplane. Bagamat sinusuri ng mga eksperto ang black box ng eroplano, ay may nagsasabing bird strike ang dahilan kung kaya't sumadsad ito at sumabog sa runway. Nagkasundo ang Ministry of Defense ng United Kingdom at Rolls-Royce para sa isang £9 billion na nuclear submarine contract. Ang 8-year deal na ito ay tinawag na Unity at trabaho ng Rolls-Royce na gumawa ng disenyo ng nuclear reactors na mas mahusay at environmentally friendly. Inaasahan din na lilikha ito ng 1,000 trabaho at gagarantiya ng 4,000 serbisyo sa United Kingdom. Ayon kay Defense Secretary John Healey, makakatipid din ang gobyerno ng halos £400 million dahil sa contract streaming na Unity Agreement.
Samantala, ilan sa mga pangalang lumilitaw na maaari bumili ng TikTok para maipagpatuloy nito ang operations nito sa Estados Unidos ay sina Jimmy Donaldson, nakilala rin bilang si Mr. Beast. Hindi nito ibinahagi ang mga detalye ukol sa kanyang TikTok bid. Subalit, sinabi nitong baka siya ang maging bagong CEO ng sikat na social media app. Nangako rin siya na mamimigay siya ng $10,000 sa bago niyang followers. Dati rin sinabi ni US President Donald Trump na bukas siyang bilhin ng bilyonaryong o ng bilyonaryong si Elon Musk ang TikTok platform. Nais din niyang bilhin ni Oracle Chairperson Larry Ellison ang TikTok. May ilang analysts tuloy ang nagsabing posibleng magkaroon ng joint venture sina Musk at Ellison na parehong Trump supporters. Hindi naman nagkomento ang TikTok kung may nangyayaring bid o sale ng kanilang kumpanya. Ipinag-utos po ni US President Donald Trump sa kanyang working group na magbalangkas ng panibagong digital asset regulations para mabuo ang isang national cryptocurrency stockpile sa Estados Unidos. Kasama sa ibabalangkas na regulation ang nag-uutos na maprotektahan ang banking services ng mga cryptocurrencies, gayon din ang pagbabawal na magkaroon ng digital currency sa US Central Bank na magiging karibal ng existing cryptocurrencies. Kaalinsabay nito ay patuloy na sumirit pataas ang halaga ng Bitcoin sa $109,000 mula sa $103,000 noong araw pa lamang po yan ng Huwebes. Samantala, maraming mga political analysts ang nagsasabing ang hakbang naman ni Trump para isulong ang crypto ay taliwas sa nagimungkahi ni former US President Joe Biden na ingatan ang mga Amerikano mula sa fraud at money laundering.
The Orion glasses are real dahil muli na namang itinampok ng Meta ang kanilang augmented reality glasses, hindi sa isang tech eventa kundi sa World Economic Forum mismo sa Davos, Switzerland. Ang Orion glasses na ito ay gumagamit ng holographic projection kung saan hinahayaan ang mga users nito na makita ang mga graphics mula sa transparent lenses nito mula sa kanilang field of view. Ayon kay Meta Chief Mark Zuckerberg, maaaring tawagin na ang Orion glasses bilang the most advanced glasses the world has ever seen. Anya, ito ay isang bagay na nagbibigay ng isang glimpse of the future kung saan ang mga smart glasses nang inaasahang papalit sa mga smartphones bilang main models of communication.
Talk about augmented reality, we mean that you're looking at the physical world and we're overlaying digital content on top of it. It allows for things like having a virtual TV on the wall, walking down the street and having arrows overlaid on the street where you're supposed to make a turn instead of having to look at a screen, virtual picture frames, virtual art, and much more.
Isang self-driving drone ang sumahim papawid sa Africa para po mag-abot ng humanitarian aid. Ayon sa Aviation Without Borders, ang cargo drone na ito ay kilala sa tawag na Ultra Mark II at may kakayahang lumipad ng 1,000 kilometers ang layo at magdala ng gamit na titimbang hanggang 150 kilograms. Kaya ng drone na ito na mag-operate araw at gabi, gayon din kapag may fog ha. Sa ngayon, ginagamit ang aircraft na ito sa mga lugar katulad ng Ukraine, the United Kingdom at Estados Unidos sa mga operasyon na hindi maabot ng tao. Higit sa humanitarian aid, maaari ring gamitin ang drone para mag-detect ng klima sa Antarctic region. Noong taong 2024, nang ginamit ito bilang survey drone at naging susi sa British Antarctic Survey ng mga scientists para pag-aralan ng climate change at makakuha pa ng mga datos sa frozen continent.
Yeah, so the Mark II is the culmination really of the past 5-6 years of endeavour and experience with real-life customers in environments all over the world. So what you see is a platform that broadly looks similar to the previous incarnation, but with double the power, double the payload, 80 plus changes that increase its usability, its dependability, and from an exterior perspective, the big change is obviously the V-tail at the back, which I think looks quite dramatic.
Napanatili ni Yannick Sinner ang kanyang Australian Open title matapos na talunin si Alexander Zverev sa scores na 6-3, 7-6, 6-3. Ang world number 1 na si Sinner ay siyang unang manlalaro ng Italy na nagwagi sa 3 Grand Slam titles. Nahigitan naman niya si Nicola Pietrangeli na nakakuha lamang ng back-to-back men's titles sa Roland Garros noong taong 1959 at 1960. Noong nakaraang taon kasi ay tinalo nito sa 5 sets si Daniil Medvedev para makuha ang unang major Grand Slam title nito sa parehas na kampyonato. Matapos nito ay tinalo naman niya si Taylor Fritz sa US Open sa parehas na taon. Sa ika-6 na laro ay nakamit ni Sinner ang decisive break at sa second set tie break ay pumabor ito at sa tennis player nang magkamit ng unlucky net cord.
Isang mainit na gabi ang laban sa pagitan ng Team Super at Team Star sa isang celebrity game ng Sevens Football League. Si Vin Pascua po para sa report.
Angat ng 1 puntos ang Team Super sa huling score na 6-5 matapos tambakan ng Team Star sa isang exciting na celebrity pro player showdown. Suot ang puting jersey, ang Team Super ay pinangunahan ni na former Ascals player Anton Del Rosario, Daisuke Sato at former rugby national team standout na si Andrew Wolf. Kasama rin sa team si Patrick Gorg ng One Taguig FC na siyang umambag ng maraming goal score sa laro. Samantala, malakas din ang lineup ng Team Star na pinangunahan ni Ascal's team captain Ali Borromeo. Sa mga unang sandali ng game ay stand strong kaagad ang Team Star mula sa score na 2-0. Pero hindi nagpatinag ang Team Super matapos makabawi ng 4 na goals ng sunod-sunod. Baka ilang sipa ay bumawi ang Team Star ng 2 puntos para sa tied score na all fours. Makalipas ng 20-minute halves, muling pumuntos ang Team Super para sa 5-4 at umiskor naman si Matthew Custodio ng Team Star para sa isang tie na 5-all. Pero tinapos naman ni Andrew Wolf ng Team Super ang laro sa winning goal score na 6-5. Siksik sa aksyon ng scrimmage na ito para maging daan sa muling paglaro ng Ascals sa panibagong season ng 7th Football League sa February 16, 2025. Para sa Balitang Sports, Vin Pascua para sa mata ng Agila International. Trusted, connected, on point.
Samantala po, inilabas na ng streaming platform na Netflix ang inaabangang K-drama na pinagbibidahan ni Park Bo-gum at IU. Ayon sa Netflix, magsisimula ang K-drama na When Life Gives You Tangerine sa March 7. Ako, excited na po kaming lahat ng mga K-drama fans. At kahit hindi pa naglalabas ang Netflix ang short synopsis ng palabas, ay marami na nga excited na mapanood ang bagong Korean drama ng dalawa. Lalo na at magsisilbi itong reunion ni Bo-gum at IU na nagsama na noon sa isang commercial. Sumikat si Bo-gum sa mga palabas na Reply 1988, Record of Youth at Encounter. Si IU naman ay isa sa mga top Korean singers at nag-concert pa noon sa Philippine Arena. Bumida rin siya sa Moon Lovers Scarlet Heart Rio, Hotel de Luna at Dream High.
Sa iba namang mga balita, patok ngayon sa mga local at foreign tourists ang fishing on ice activities sa Hwacheon County sa South Korea. Umarangkada na kasi ang Hwacheon Sancheo Neo Ice event na magtatagal hanggang sa February 2, 2025. Ang event na ito ay ang pamimingwit ng isang mountain trout, isang uri ng first-class fish na matatagpuan sa freshwater. Libu-libong mga fishing holes ang binutas sa mga nagyayelong ilog para dito isagawa ang nasabing event. Higit sa fishing on ice activity, maiengganyo rin ang mga bisita sa mga indoor ice sculpture plaza na itinayo sa lugar. Meron ding mga skating rink, ice soccer field at iba pa na inihanda ang mga organizers ng event. Taong 2003 nang sinimula ng taunang event nito kung saan dinarayo ito ng nasa 25,000 tourists.
Nagtipo naman po ang breakdancing community sa Rio de Janeiro, Brazil para sa pagsasara naman ng international breaking event. Ito na ang ika-4 na edisyon ng summer breaking kung saan 32 athletes kasama po ang 16 B-boys at 16 B-girls ang nagtipon-tipon para ipakita ang kanilang nakamamanghang dance moves at pirouettes. Sa event na ito ay pinahangaan ng mga mananayaw ang mga audiences mula sa kanilang kakaibang footwork, spins at gravity-defying moves sa entablado. Ayon naman sa organizers, layo ng international culminating activity na ito na itampok ang pinagsama-samang sports, culture, and dance.
Parang nakakaano rin, ano? Ganda.
Engganyo ka ba?
Naki-engganyo, pero nakakatakot yan, kasi ano rin pero parang ang hirap i-explain.
Parang kayang-kaya mo naman yan. Very athletic
parang
ka
delikado
naman.
sa katawan kung hindi mo kabisado yung balance mo. Ayun, nag-isip ako kung anong tamang word.
Pero di ba naisama yan dati sa isang big sporting event sa mundo, di ba? Yung breakdance na yan. Kaya pang Olympics na yata yan din talaga,
dapat lang naman, actually, dapat noon pa eh. Medyo late ngang kumbaga, it breaking into the sports scene. Dapat that should have happened. Diba?
But breaking
no
into
pun intended. At dapat should have been a long time
mukhang
ago.
kailangan natin mag-practice dahil nakita natin kanina yung nagbe-breakdance, kakulay natin ngayong gabi.
Ayan na naman, ba't laging
Nagkataon na
ganon?
naman,
Hindi,
diba?
feeling ko nga hindi nagkataon para bagang sinasabi sa atin na gawin nyo rin yan, i-go nyo yan.
Sige, magpa-practice po kami ni Nina Richie Alagao Flores. Kung paano mag-breakdance.
Nung sinabi mo yung Flores, natakot ako kasi yung asawa ko, di ba dating mahusay?
Ay, oo nga.
Hindi, mahusay pa rin.
Di meron na tayong ngayon, may coach na tayo.
Oo, di ba? Ayan.
Sige,
Guloyin natin siya.
Maika, abangan ka namin dito sa NET25. Turuan mo kami ni Nina bago magbata ng Agila International. Pero bago po nyo mapanood ang aming pag-breakdance ni Nina, tandaan po narito kami mula Lunes hanggang Biyernes para maghatid ng balita saan mang dako sa mundo. Magandang gabi po. Ako po muli, Sir Kimatay.
Ako si Nina Richie Alagaw Flores. Ito po ang Mata ng Agila International. Para naman po sa iba pang mga balitang nangyari rin sa iba't ibang panig ng mundo, punta naman tayo kay Alma Angeles para sa Mata ng Agila World News. Take it away, Alma.
Thank you, Nina and Ricky. Good evening, everyone. I'm Alma Angeles for NET25 World News. On tonight's headlines. The political earthquake shaking South Korea intensified as prosecutors took the unprecedented step of indicting President Yoon Suk-yeol for insurrection. The U.S. and Colombia have resolved a major standoff after Colombia agreed to accept deported migrants on U.S. military flights. The agreement comes after President Donald Trump threatened steep tariffs, sanctions, and travel bans in response to Colombia's earlier refusal to cooperate. And the news starts now. South Korean aviation authorities today submitted a preliminary accident report to the International Civil Aviation Organization, or ICAO, and other relevant agencies, including the United States, France, and Thailand. Now, the report outlines initial findings into the deadly crash of a Jeju Air Boeing 737-800 last month, which tragically claimed the lives of 179 passengers and crew members. Take a look. The investigation, while ongoing, is currently focused on a potential bird strike as a contributing factor. An examination of the aircraft's engines revealed the presence of feathers and bird blood stains, suggesting a possible impact during the final approach. The report also highlights the pilot's declaration of an emergency mayday following a suspected bird strike. However, the exact timing of the incident remains under investigation. A critical aspect of the investigation involves the simultaneous failure of both flight data recorders shortly before the emergency declaration. The aircraft was at an altitude of 498 feet and traveling at 161 knots when the black boxes ceased recording. The final report is expected to be released within 12 months, providing crucial insights into the cause of this devastating accident. The political earthquake shaking South Korea intensified as prosecutors took the unprecedented step of indicting President Yoon Suk-yeol for insurrection, charging that his brief imposition of martial law last month was an attempt to overthrow constitutional order. The indictment, a first for a sitting South Korean president, comes as Yoon remains in detention, steadfastly refusing to answer investigators' questions.
South Korea's prosecutors indicted impeached President Yoon Suk-yeol on Sunday. Yoon's lawyers confirmed that he faces charges of leading an insurrection when he briefly imposed martial law in December. The charges are unprecedented for a South Korean president. If convicted, Yoon could face years in prison. His lawyers criticize the indictment as the worst choice made by prosecutors, while the main opposition party welcomed the decision. Asia's fourth largest economy has been plunged in political chaos since Yoon's martial law decree on December the 3rd, which sought to ban political and parliamentary activity and control the media.
우리 국민의 자유와 행복을 약탈하고 있는
Separate to his criminal charges, the Constitutional Court is also in the process of determining whether to remove Yoon from office permanently or reinstate him. That's after Yoon was impeached by Parliament in mid-December and suspended from power. At the impeachment trial last week, Yoon and his lawyers argued that he never intended to fully impose martial law, but had only meant the measures as a warning to break a political deadlock.
Yoon declared martial law in the process of correcting government and subversion of the national constitution. So, the decree was made as a formality. So he didn't think deeply. That's how I understand. So Yoon didn't intend full martial law.
Insurrection is one of the few criminal charges from which a South Korean president does not have immunity. It is punishable by life imprisonment or death, although the country has not executed anyone in decades. A number of top military officials were also indicted for their roles in the alleged insurrection.
The U.S. and Colombia have resolved a major standoff after Colombia agreed to accept deported migrants on U.S. military flights. The agreement comes after President Donald Trump threatened steep tariffs, sanctions, and travel bans in response to Colombia's earlier refusal to cooperate.
The U.S. and Colombia pulled back from the brink of a trade war on Sunday. U.S. President Donald Trump had threatened tariffs and sanctions on Colombia for refusing to accept military flights carrying deportees as part of his sweeping immigration crackdown. But late on Sunday, the White House said Colombia had agreed to accept the migrants after all, and Washington would not impose those penalties.
El gobierno de Colombia.
Colombian Foreign Minister Luis Gilberto Murillo on Sunday said his country's government had, quote, gotten over its impasse with Washington. Earlier, Colombia's President Gustavo Petro had condemned the military deportation flights and said that he would never carry out a raid to return handcuffed Americans to the U.S. However, he also said that Colombia would welcome home deported migrants on civilian planes and offered his presidential plane to facilitate their, quote, dignified return. The Colombian statement did not specify whether the agreement it had struck with the U.S. included military flights, but it did not contradict the White House announcement. It added that Murillo and Colombia's ambassador to the United States will travel to Washington in coming days for follow-up meetings. The use of U.S. military aircraft to carry out deportation flights is unusual. Some of them carried out 2 flights to Guatemala on Friday, while Mexico also refused a request last week to let a U.S. military aircraft land with migrants. Trump has said he is thinking about imposing 25% duties on imports from Canada and Mexico on February 1st to force further action against illegal immigrants and fentanyl flowing into the U.S.
Colombia is not the main trading partner, the most important trading partner with the United States. However, because of the asymmetries between the two economies, of course, the United States can impose for a short term tariffs on the imports from Colombia, and this is going to be devastating for the country. So it's an instrument to pressure this nation in any single form. And this is also a sign to other countries, particularly a sign to Mexico, because there are more things that the United States were going to negotiate with Mexico, particularly in immigration.
The Trump administration is carrying out targeted immigration enforcement actions. The White House border czar told ABC this week, adding that the public should expect more arrests in the coming weeks. Now, Tom Homan said the operation was focused on individuals deemed a national security or public safety threat. Asked whether immigrations and customs enforcement officers would be entering typically off-limit spaces such as schools and churches, Homan said it would be determined on a case-by-case basis. Take a look.
You can see the number steadily increase, the number of arrests nationwide as we open up the aperture. Right now it's concentrating public safety threats, national security threats. That's a smaller population. So we're going to do this on priority base, as President Trump's promised, but as that aperture opens, there'll be more arrests nationwide. If you're in the country illegally, you're on the table, because it's not okay to violate laws of this country. You got to remember, every time you enter this country illegally, you violated a crime under Title 8, United States Code 1325. It's a crime. So if you're in the country illegally, you got a problem.
The future of America's emergency response system is under scrutiny tonight. President Trump has signed an executive order calling for a comprehensive review of FEMA, just days after suggesting the agency might be eliminated altogether. Now, the move allows the president's recent visits to disaster zones in North Carolina and California, where he criticized the agency's performance and suggested giving states direct control over disaster response.
And we're looking at the whole concept of FEMA. I like, frankly, the concept when North Carolina gets hit, the governor takes care of it. When Florida gets hit, the governor takes care of it, meaning the state takes care of it. I'd like to see the states take care of disasters. Let the state take care of the tornadoes and the hurricanes and all of the other things that happen. And I think you're going to find it a lot less expensive. You'll do it for less than half.
U.S. President Donald Trump on Sunday signed an executive order establishing a review council to evaluate the Federal Emergency Management Agency, or FEMA. Trump called on the council to hold its first public meeting within 90 days and submit a report to him within 180 days of the first meeting. Trump raised the idea of overhauling or shuttering FEMA last week during a trip to disaster areas in North Carolina and California. The Republican president accused FEMA of bungling emergency relief efforts there. He said he preferred that U.S. states be given federal money to handle disasters themselves.
I'll also be signing an executive order to begin the process of fundamentally reforming and overhauling FEMA, or maybe getting rid of FEMA. I think, frankly, FEMA is not good. I think when you have a problem like this, I think you want to go and, whether it's a Democrat or Republican governor, you want to use your state to fix it and not waste time calling FEMA, and then FEMA gets here and they don't know the area, they've never been to the area, and they want to give you rules that you've never heard about. They want to bring people that aren't as good as the people you already have. And FEMA's turned out to be a disaster.
Trump said in his executive order that there were, quote, serious concerns of political bias at FEMA. He added that agency funds had been used for programs related to incoming migrants. FEMA brings in emergency personnel, supplies, and equipment to help areas begin to recover from natural disasters. Funding for the agency has soared in recent years as extreme weather events have increased the demand for its services. The agency in the past year has battled misinformation, including about disaster responses in Florida and North Carolina. Acting FEMA head Cam Hamilton wrote to staff on Friday, reassuring them that the agency's continued existence was vital to the country's disaster response efforts.
A moment of joy and relief for Israel as 4 female soldiers held hostage by Hamas since the October 7th attacks are finally back home. The emotional reunion marks the second hostage swap between Israel and Hamas, bringing tears and cheers from both sides. Take a look. For the second time in 2 weekends, Israelis and Palestinians celebrate the exchange of hostages and prisoners. 4 Israeli women soldiers held hostage for 15 months are finally reunited with their families. The youngest of the freed women, 19-year-old Larry Albad, and 20-year-olds Karina Ariev, Daniela Gilboa, and Nama Levy were among the 4 freed. On October 7th, Hamas militants abducted Levy and hundreds of others, and Hamas freed the 4 women through the Red Cross in Gaza City's largest square, just miles away in Israel. Families expressed joy and relief as the hostages were returned. Israel also released nearly 200 Palestinian prisoners in exchange. One of them, 47-year-old Mohammed Al-Arida. Arida was jailed in 2002 and sentenced to life imprisonment because of his role in the military wing of Islamic Jihad. His mother expressed joyous relief as she embraced him.
Today can't be described. I can't stand myself. I couldn't believe that he was going to be released. Everyone was coming to me and showing his picture, and I said, this is not Mohammed. Now, when I saw him, I started to shout, my beloved son.
The 4 hostages are reported to be in stable condition. Eyes now turn to next weekend, when another exchange is expected. 89 Israelis, including 7 Americans, remain in Gaza, with 3 still believed alive.
A very special thanks goes to President Trump for his unwavering support. Because of your powerful actions, we have our lives back. You made this deal possible after so many months where it felt like all hope was gone. Our hope rests with you for all of the hostages to return.
Thank you, President Trump, for everything you are doing for our hostages. If anyone can bring world peace, it's definitely you. And we are confident you will do whatever it takes to get us there.
And take a look, tens of thousands of Palestinians began moving along the main roads leading north in Gaza on Monday as Israel opened roadblocks after the militant group Hamas agreed to hand over female Israeli hostage Arbel Yehud and 2 other hostages.
May God bless you. The breeze of the north has returned, and welcome to the people of the north. I am happy. What can I say? I'm happy, thank God. Welcome to the people of the north.
Drone footage showed large crowds on the move, and witnesses said the first residents arrived in Gaza City in the early morning after the first crossing point in central Gaza opened at 7 a.m. local time. Another crossing was due to open at 9 a.m. Under the terms of the ceasefire agreement, residents of northern Gaza were due to return at the weekend. But Israel said that Hamas had broken the deal by failing to release civilian hostage Yehud and kept the crossings closed. Late on Sunday, Qatari mediators said Hamas had agreed to release Yehud and 2 other hostages before Friday, and that Israel would, in return, allow displaced Palestinians to return to northern Gaza starting Monday morning. The move, brokered by Qatar and Egyptian mediators, would allow around 650,000 Palestinians in central and southern Gaza Strip to return to homes in the north of the enclave, most of which had been laid waste by 15 months of Israel's aerial and ground offensive. More than 47,000 Palestinians have been killed in the offensive, according to the Gaza Health Ministry. U.S. President Donald Trump delivered a firm message to Russian President Vladimir Putin, calling for an end to Moscow's nearly 3-year invasion of Ukraine. In a post on Truth Social, Trump urged Putin to stop this ridiculous war and warned of potential high levels of taxes, tariffs, and sanctions on Russian exports to the West if the conflict continues. Trump acknowledged Russia's historical role in aiding the U.S. during World War II, stating, "I'm not looking to hurt Russia, and we must never forget that they helped us win World War II." However, he added, "All that being said, I'm going to do Russia, whose economy is failing, and President Putin a very big favor. Settle now and stop this ridiculous war. It's only going to get worse." Now, the president signaled his readiness to act decisively if peace talks fail, warning, "If we don't make a deal, and soon, I will have no other choice but to impose taxes, tariffs, and sanctions." Trump also claimed the war wouldn't have started if he had been president during the conflict's outbreak. "Let's get this war, which never would have started if I were president, over with. We can do it the easy way or the hard way, and the easy way is always better. It's time to make a deal. No more lives should be lost." Despite his threats, Putin remains skeptical about whether he would impose additional sanctions that might negatively impact the U.S. economy.
Frankly, I doubt that the current president, Mr. Trump, and as I've said, we've worked together. We worked when he was president for the first time. I doubt that if he makes any decisions about imposing additional sanctions, so I don't think he will make decisions that would harm the American economy. He's a very smart man. He's a very pragmatic. I don't think that he will make any decisions that would not benefit the United States.
A horrific attack at what should have been a joyful celebration has led to one of Britain's longest ever youth sentences. 18-year-old Axel Ruda Cubana will spend at least 52 years behind bars for a deadly rampage that claimed 3 young lives at a Taylor Swift-themed event in Southport last summer. The court heard today that Ruda Cubana, who was 17 at the time, not only killed 3 girls, but also stabbed 10 others in an attack that the judge equated to terrorist violence. Despite his youth preventing a full life sentence, the judge made it clear Ruda Cubana is unlikely to ever walk free. Take a look.
A British teenager who killed 3 young girls in Southport last year has been sentenced to at least 52 years in prison. 18-year-old Axel Ruda Cubana pleaded guilty to the murders and to stabbing 10 others during a Taylor Swift-themed event last July. In court, prosecutor Diana Here revealed that Ruda Cubana had an obsession with violence and genocide, and even appeared to try to decapitate one of his victims. Judge Julian Goose said while Ruda Cubana was just 17 at the time of the attack, he would likely never be released from prison.
His culpability for this extreme level of violence is equivalent in its seriousness to terrorist murders, whatever his purpose. Whether his motivation was for terrorism or not misses the point.
Rudy Cabana was removed from the courtroom twice during the proceedings after claiming he felt unwell and refusing to return. His defense team acknowledged he had been diagnosed with autism, but insisted there was no mental disorder to explain his actions. After the sentencing, Detective Chief Inspector Jason Pye commented that while the ruling can never undo the trauma for the victims and their families, he hopes it offers some measure of comfort knowing Rudy Cabana will be locked away for a long time.
Although no outcome at court today could possibly ease the pain and trauma for the victims and their families, I hope that knowing Rudy Cabana will spend a considerable amount of time in prison will at least bring some comfort.
Reporting from London, United Kingdom, this is Shannon Kia for NET25 World News.
Prince Harry has scored a landmark victory against media mogul Rupert Murdoch's news empire. In a stunning admission, the Sun newspaper has finally acknowledged illegal intrusion into royal privacy, including that of Princess Diana, ending years of denials, and the settlement worth tens of millions of pounds marks the first time Murdoch's flagship British tabloid has admitted to unlawful behavior in what Harry's lawyers are calling a watershed moment for press accountability.
In a dramatic twist, in a London courtroom, Prince Harry's high-profile lawsuit against Rupert Murdoch's British tabloids for invasion of privacy ended abruptly last Thursday with an apology and a substantial settlement.
In a monumental victory today, News UK have admitted that The Sun, the flagship title for Rupert Murdoch's UK media empire, has indeed engaged in illegal practices. This represents a vindication for the hundreds of other claimants who were strong-armed into settling without being able to get to the truth of what was done to them.
The case, which was set to be a bitter legal battle, saw News Group newspapers, owners of The Sun, issue a full and unequivocal apology for hacking Harry's phone and intruding into his personal life. Between 1996 and 2011, the company also acknowledged unlawful conduct by private investigators and apologized for past invasions of privacy, including those involving Harry's late mother, Princess Diana. This marks the first time Murdoch's tabloid has admitted to any wrongdoing in what has been a costly legal saga, with over $1 billion spent on payouts and legal fees over the years.
After endless resistance, denials, and legal battles by News Group newspapers, including spending more than £1 billion in payouts and in legal costs, as well as paying off those in the know, in order to prevent the full picture from coming out, News UK is finally held to account for its illegal actions and its blatant disregard for the law. It has also specifically admitted wrongdoing against Tom Watson and admitted unlawful acts by The Sun, as well as by the News of the World against Prince Harry.
Prince Harry, one of more than 1,300 claimants against the tabloids, called the settlement a monumental victory. Reports suggest the payout is in the 8-figure range. The lawsuit has brought renewed attention to what many describe as one of the darkest chapters in British journalism.
Well, it's great to see that finally an admission that The Sun has been responsible for illegal activity over the last 20 years. Over the last kind of 15 years or so, there's been over 1,300 claims that News Group has faced. They've paid out over £1 billion, denying essentially that The Sun was responsible for any kinds of illegal activity. So to finally get an admission that we've all been effectively lied to about that is a really significant development today.
This has been Ryan Florentino reporting from London, United Kingdom for NET25 World News.
And the news continues here on NET25. We'll be right back.
Excited ka na bang malaman kung ikaw ang nanalo ng mga exciting prizes na ito sa ating NET25 Selfie with the Agila promo? Abangan ang nalalapit na announcement ng winners sa Love, Pony Pet, and Everything. Kada umaga, ESPN, sa ganang mamamayan at mata ng Agila Primetime. Kaya naman tumutok lang dito sa NET25.
We now go to Ireland and Northern Ireland, where it was battered by a storm with record-breaking winds leaving devastation in its path. Love and Season reports.
Ireland and Northern Ireland faced the wrath of Storm Éowyn on Friday with record-breaking winds leaving devastation in their wake. One man was killed in County Donegal when a tree fell on his car, while nearly a third of Irish homes and businesses were left without power. In County Galway, wind speeds reached a staggering 183 kilometers per hour, breaking an 80-year-old record, according to Ireland's weather agency, Met Éireann. Streets in Dublin were eerily empty during the morning rush hour as businesses stayed shuttered and people heeded red wind warnings, the highest alert level.
It was the worst storm we've seen since we moved to Galway 25 years ago. Very, very frightening, I'd say, between 2 and 4 a.m. last night. It was particularly bad. And certainly wouldn't want to see too many of them.
The storm caused widespread chaos. Storm Éowyn didn't stop at Ireland. It also battered Glasgow, Scotland, with unreal winds that forced many to stay indoors under a red weather warning for southwestern and central areas of the country.
I just think it's very apocalyptic up there. There's not like one personal. The barriers are down and bins everywhere.
There was a broken bench.
A broken bench.
Why are you out today then?
Because we've been kicked out of our hotel until 2 o'clock.
Yeah, something unreal. I can't put it into words.
As the storms move north, the officials are warning of ongoing risks, including coastal flooding. For now, recovery efforts are focused on clearing debris, restoring power, and bracing for potential after effects. From London, United Kingdom, Love and Season reporting for NET25 World News.
Filipinos in New York gathered for the 11th Filipino Community General Assembly, where Consul General Senen Mangalile highlighted the consulate's achievements and addressed concerns about the new U.S. administration. Joanne Soriano reports.
In New York, the Philippine Consulate invited partner organizations from around the region to attend the 11th Filipino Community General Assembly.
Consul General Senen Mangalile recounted the many accomplishments of the past year. Some highlights included consular services resulting in the processing of over 20,000 documents, including passports, visas, and dual citizenships. The promotion of economic initiatives to create more jobs back home, along with working with educational institutions to introduce Filipino fibers and textiles. He also updated the community on what can be expected in 2025. One item to note is that overseas voting will be done electronically in lieu of casting paper ballots. This can be done via smartphone, tablet, or computer, wherever individuals can access a camera. Over 10,000 overseas voters were processed in 2024. Consul General Mangalile acknowledged that Filipinos with uncertain status are anxious under the new Trump administration, and he assured everyone that the Consulate General in New York is their safe space regardless of status.
The Philippine Consulate General in New York is their safe space. We never share our data with the US government or any other government. We protect that data because we are covered by the Philippine data protection laws. We can assure them that we will process their consular applications irrespective of their visa status. We will partner with the capable organizations in the community in order to protect their right to due process. Those who are detained and facing cases but are unable to secure lawyers for their defense, will get pro bono assistance from FALDE and their lawyers.
To further assist Filipinos under this administration, he elaborated that the Consul General will hold online webinars for people to know their rights and connect them to free legal clinics to maintain their anonymity and privacy. A Q&A town hall session touched upon the different issues members in attendance were concerned about, opening the conversations to topics of health, the ban on certain Filipino food imports, and the taxation of income for Philams and retirees in the Philippines. The program continued with the launching of the very important Pinoy, or VIP tour. For the tour's 20th anniversary this July, Philams are invited to explore the rich history, culture, and people of Manila, Ilocos, and Puerto Princesa. Throughout the evening, cultural performances showcased the singing talents of the community members. Joanne Soriano, New York, New York, for NET25 World News.
And that's it for tonight's broadcast. For everyone here on NET25, I'm Alma Angeles. Thank you all for joining us. Good night.